Hi, everyone. Vasu Party here for the VPartySports podcast. It's Thursday, November 3rd. Can you believe we're already in November? We're midway through the NFL season. We've got the NBA, about 3 weeks old, the NHL as well. Lots of things to talk about. Big game in college football this weekend. We'll preview that on Saturday. Right now, we want to mention that we're sponsored by the Brit Sports Pub and Patio, downtown San Jose. Mention this podcast and receive 10% off your bill every Sunday during the NFL Sunday Ticket. We're there live from 9:30 to 10:30 in the mornings. Come by and visit. Mention the podcast. Receive 10% off your bill. You can find the V Party Sports podcast at the Brit Sports Pub and Patio every Sunday. Don't forget to check out their happy hour specials during the week. Live music during the week as well, too. All your NBA, NHL, college football, NBA, MLB, World Series action going on this week and every week as well at the Brit Sports Pub and Patio in downtown San Jose. All right, welcome in our first show since last Sunday. Glad to have you here with us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Check out all avenues to download our podcast. Thanks for watching us live. Make sure you pass it on to everybody else as well, too. All right, big doings in sports. Tonight starts week 9 of the NFL. We'll give you the commonality they have between the NFL and MLB for tonight and tonight only. The NBA had 11 games yesterday. We'll revamp that a little bit. And the NHL continues to go on, but we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But it's NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. We'll start with Major League Baseball. Did you see the game last night? World Series, the Astros, a 5-0 win to even the series at 2 games apiece. Game 5 tonight with Justin Verlander facing Noah Syndergaard. More likely a bullpen game for the Phillies. They're going to hold off Zach Wheeler for another day. Now that there's a guaranteed Game 6, they'll send it back to Houston on Saturday night for Game 6 with the World Series in line. Whoever wins tonight obviously takes a 3-2 lead. Will have the advantage going into Sunday. The Astros haven't lost 2 games in a row in about a month and a half. Saturday. Astros haven't lost 2 games in about a month and a half, and here they are coming back to win after getting drubbed with 5 home runs the other night. Lance McCullers Jr. was awful. Word of him tipping pitches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Harper homers, Hoskins homers, Alec Boehm homers. 5 home runs in the game for the Phillies, 7-0 on Tuesday night. But then all of a sudden last night, the Phillies can't hit. That's what makes this game so great. How about this? For the second time ever in Major League Baseball, a no-hitter was thrown. Astros pitchers led by Christian Javier for the first 6, Brian Abreu in the 7th, Rafael Montero in the 8th, Ryan Presley in the 9th, combined for a World Series no-hitter. Only the second time in World Series history has a no-hitter ever been thrown. Now, we know no-hitters are not the same as they were in the olden days, way back when everybody was over 30 years old that remembers what a complete game is, what a complete game no-hitter is. Hey, it's modern times. That's the way it is. The goal is to win the game, even the series, get back into the swing of things. Make sure that you're not down 3-1 for Houston's sake. The no-hitter is a no-hitter. Second time ever since 1956. Those of you old enough to remember Don Larson for the New York Yankees, not only a no-hitter, a perfect game, but Javier, Abreu, Montero, and Presley, no hits, wasn't a perfect game, able to get the no-hitter, win the game 5-0. Alex Bregman with the key double. He opened up the game a little bit. There was 1-0 out. Yordan Alvarez got hit with a pitch after Alvarado came in with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th inning. He hit Alvarez with the first pitch that he threw, 1-0 Astros, and then Bregman drove home 2. Sacrifice fly later, another base hit, 5-0 Houston, and that's your score. Game stayed under. Houston was the underdog. They were plus 100. Alex Bregman, the key hit in the series yesterday's game to tie that thing up at 2 games apiece. So we said Verlander and Syndergaard going tonight, most likely a bullpen game for the Phillies. Now let's get to tonight's game a little bit. Verlander 0-6 in World Series action. This goes back to his World Series action with the Detroit Tigers back in 2012. Of course, the Astros in 2017 and 2019 as well, too. As far as the line for tonight, Houston Astros are 148 favorite. Justin Verlander's 0-6. Philadelphia, 7.5 is the total. The series tied at 2 games apiece. Noah Syndergaard did have one game in which he pitched in the World Series in 2015. He was with the Mets. They lost to the Royals eventually, but Noah Syndergaard 1-0, gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, a quality start back in 2015. I don't remember the exact date, but I want to say it was somewhere around this time period, obviously with the World Series. So Verlander, Syndergaard. Syndergaard had success, but that was 7 years ago. Verlander has not had success, and you've seen that in the playoffs. Is it the days off that he's had the rest, too much rest? We'll see. But tonight, the chance to go up 3-2 in Philadelphia. By the way, how about the Philadelphia Phillies? What's going on with that crowd? That crowd is unbelievable. The way the Phillies crowd has come back in to cheer this team on. They boo them. They cheer for them. They're null and void in some games, and yet here they are right back in there. And by the way, Rhys Hoskins, who hit 2 home runs in the series so far this World Series, his wife every 5th inning has gone down to the beer stand and bought a case of beer for Philadelphia fans at the beer line. It's probably putting out about $400, $300 or $400 each time. And whether you say, oh, it's ball players' money and they've got the money and blah this and blah that, I disagree with that in the sense that it's still $400. It doesn't matter what it's for. If you're going to treat Philly fans well, you make yourself popular. I wish I knew her first name. I want to say it's Brienne. Somebody out there, Deanna. Somebody help me with the name of Rhys Hoskins' wife, because I want to give her credit, because she's the one that went down there and put the credit card down for a case of beer for, I guess, 20 beers for each of the 3 games. I'm sure it'll happen tonight again in the 5th inning. So a good gesture and notation for Mrs. Rhys Hoskins, whose husband's having a pretty good World Series too. 2 games apiece in the World Series. Houston a 148 favorite, 7.5 the total in the game tonight between Syndergaard and Verlander. I'll give you the best bet that we have right now. I don't think we have the best bet. Actually, we don't have a best bet right now for the Houston and Philadelphia World Series game. I'll get that to you at the end of the show, coming up in about 20 minutes or so. All right, when we come back, we'll get to the NFL. I'll tell you what's in common with the World Series and the NFL as we start Week 9 with the NFL season underway. Only a couple teams going well right now, one undefeated. We'll tell you who that is. We'll get to the lines. We'll get to the previews. And we'll get back to the VPartySports podcast, sponsored by the Brit Sports Pub and Patio, downtown San Jose. Join us live. Mention the podcast to receive 10% off your entire bill and enjoy all of Week 9 in the NFL. All right, back in 30 seconds. We'll get to the NFL. We'll talk a little NBA after that as well, too. But the World Series tied at 2 games apiece. Justin Verlander, Noah Syndergaard tonight, Game 5. Winner will take a 3-2 series lead back to Houston on Saturday. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulty. Winner will take a 3-2 series lead going back to Houston Saturday night. All right, V-Party Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Vasu Vadaparty, back in 30 seconds with the NFL and the NBA. Welcome back to the V-Party Sports Podcast. Vasu Vadaparty, your host here, sponsored by the Britannia Sports Pub and Patio, downtown San Jose, the Brit Sports Pub and Patio. Mention this podcast, receive 10% off your bill during the NFL Sunday Ticket. I will be there live on Sunday for the NFL pregame show. We'll preview all the NFL. For the first half hour, the games will be on. We'll give you all the updates. Then we'll go through the NBA, MLB, NHL as well for the rest of the show. Post kickoff on Sunday morning, West Coast time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, downtown. If you're familiar with downtown, you're in the area, come on down and visit. If not, catch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All right, just a little recap here. World Series, 5-0 win over the Philadelphia Phillies by the Houston Astros. Turned out to be a no-hitter. Christian Javier, 6 innings of no-hit ball. Abreu, Montero, and Presley combined for the feat. Second World Series ever. Second no-hitter in World Series history ever. 1956, Don Larson, a complete game, a perfect game. Alex Bregman, with the double to open up the game from 1-0. He made it 3-0. Astros added on 2 more runs to make it 5-0. Justin Verlander, 0-6 in World Series action, goes back to his Detroit Tigers days. The Astros in 2017, and then the Astros again in 2019. Noah Syndergaard pitched for the Mets in the World Series in 2015. He was the winner in that game, 6 innings, 3 earned runs against the Kansas City Royals. The Mets ended up losing that series 4-2 to the Kansas City Royals. Houston, a 148 favorite behind Verlander, 7.5 the total. You look at the Philadelphia Phillies, it looks like it's going to be a bullpen game for the Phillies tonight. As Syndergaard, if they hope to get 9 outs or 12 outs out of him, to try and take that 3-2 series lead to go back to Houston on Saturday night, as we are guaranteed that 6 games. All right, do you know what the NFL and MLB have in common tonight? Well, fun fact, first time ever, 2 teams playing in the World Series are also playing that week in the NFL from the same city. Tonight in the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles are traveling to Houston. They're already in Houston. They're going to play the Houston Texans. Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, is from Houston. He was seen wearing an Astros hat at his press conference on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, I'm sorry, today's Thursday. Tuesday's Players' Day is off. But he was seen to wear an Astros hat. That doesn't sit well with Philly fans, but I'm sure that they're doing just fine with the fact that the Eagles are 7-0, the only undefeated team after dominating Pittsburgh last week. So we've got the Phillies and Astros playing in Philadelphia tonight, with the 76ers playing across the street against the Washington Wizards. You got the Eagles traveling down to Houston to play the Houston Texans tonight, going in there 7-0 after their win versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles are favored by 11. They won last week 35-13. The Houston Texans only ran for 53 yards rushing. They lost to the Tennessee Titans 17-10. They fall to 1-5-1. Malik Willis started for the Titans, so it wasn't even Tannehill. And the Texans offense having a tough time getting going. Again, the first time that both cities involved in the World Series are playing an NFL game during this week. So that's a fun fact. I don't know what kind of odds you would have gotten that if you predicted that at the beginning of the season, but here we are. Eagles, Texans in Houston tonight. Phillies, Astros in Philadelphia tonight for Game 5. Eagles looking to go 8-0, trying to dominate the Titans, dominating the league so far, dominating the Titans. The Eagles offense, 3rd in the NFL, about 400 yards a game. The Texans 31st at nearly 200 yards a game. So double what Houston does is what the Eagles offense is doing. Philadelphia 3rd in points per game. They're averaging 28th. They're 4th in points allowed at 17. Houston's defensively is only allowing 22 games. They're about the middle of the pack. I want to say they're 15th or 16th, allowing only 22 points per game. But offensively, they are 31st in the NFL. They're only averaging 19 points a game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles go into this game. Remember how I feel, and we said this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Double-digit favorites on the road in the NFL, where everybody has players, is a very tough proposition to have. So with that said, let's give you the best bet for tonight. Oh, look, it doesn't matter what I say about double-digit point spreads in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles minus 14 points. I think their offense is too good. Defensively, they can shut down Davis Mills. At quarterback, Dameon Pierce is a good, strong rookie at running back. Defensively, they play well. They only allow 17 points a game. Houston allows 22 points a game. You would think the under might be the play, but I got a feeling Philadelphia is going to come out and score against the Texans. I don't think they can stop the outside receivers. Tight end has been very good. The running back situation has been very good for Philadelphia as well, too. So the best bet tonight in the NFL, Eagles minus 14 over the Houston Texans. All right, we move on to the NBA. 2 games tonight in the NBA. Golden State, a 9-point favorite at Orlando, 226 the total. Denver, a 6.5-point favorite, 229 over Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City got a win 2 nights ago against the Orlando Magic. They came back from behind, ended up winning at home against Orlando. They won 116-108, covering the 3-point favorite that they were. The Denver Nuggets, in their last few games, they are sitting at 6. They're in a playoff spot. It's only 7 games in. They're in a playoff spot. They're 4-3 right now. They played on Tuesday They played on Monday. Where were they? They haven't played since Sunday. How about that? They lost to the Lakers on Sunday. Darvin Ham's first win. I thought they played on Tuesday, but I'll have to go back and look that up. Anyway, they lost 121 to 110 to the Lakers. The Lakers' first win at that time. Of course, the Lakers got their second win last night. We'll tell you about the NBA in a second when we get to the odds for the NBA today. Golden State 9 at Orlando. They haven't won on this road trip yet. 226 the total. Denver 6.5 at Oklahoma City. 229 the total there as well. All right, best bets for the NBA. The NBA last night 5-6 as a favorite, and 4-7 over and under. Let's go through some of the games. The Wizards got a win at Philadelphia, 121 to 111. Celtics lost in overtime to the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are 7-1 now, 6-1 now, and they continue to improve. They beat the Celtics twice in the last 5 days. Heat beat the Kings 110-107. Tyler Hero game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. The Hawks come back from 12 down to beat the Knicks 112-99. 106-88, the Bulls over the Hornets. 109-101, the Clippers over the Rockets. Bucks continue to stay undefeated, 116-91. There's a story in the NBA right now. The Raptors put up 143 points against San Antonio, 143 to 100. The final score there, Toronto just blasting San Antonio. The Utah Jazz came in at 5-2, 6-2 last night. They lose, however. They had a lead against the Mavericks. They end up losing by 3, but they cover 103 to 100. The Grizzlies blow a 17-point lead. They end up winning 111 to 106 over the Portland Trailblazers. They're still without Lillard for 2 more weeks. Second loss for the Blazers in this young season. And then did you see the game last night? I don't know if you saw the highlights. Matt Ryan, not the quarterback for the Falcons or the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan, a rookie, comes off the bench, gets a call for a play for a three-pointer after the New Orleans Pelicans missed 2 free throws to keep the game at 3. Matt Ryan ends up hitting a three-pointer with 1.4 seconds on the clock. When he shot it, it goes through, time expires, game tied. Lakers end up winning by 3 in overtime. Go figure. Unbelievable. Darvin Ham, 2 wins now for the Lakers as their head coach. It's 2 in a row for the Lakers in their winning streak after the win over the Nuggets the other night. So very interesting doings. All right, our best bet for the NBA, I'm going with the Denver Nuggets tonight. 6.5, the favorite for Denver. Denver's coming off the loss to the Lakers. They've got Oklahoma City on the ropes. They're playing well, though. Even though the loss to the Lakers came in a bad time, Jokic is playing well. Jamal Murray is getting his sea legs back. It's a good time for the Nuggets to be going into Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was down to Orlando at the half. They came back and won. I just don't think they have the firepower that the Denver Nuggets do. Denver Nuggets minus 6.5. So your best bets for the day are the Eagles minus 14 and the Nuggets minus 6.5. The Eagles minus 14 in the NFL, and then the Nuggets in the NBA at 6.5. Last night we said the NBA 5-6 as a favorite, 4-7 the over/under. I guess the most surprising game of the night last night was the Jazz covering against the Mavericks. They were a 6-point underdog. The Wizards beating the Sixers. They didn't have Joel Embiid. The Cavaliers are a surprise team to start. They are 6-1. They are 6-1. The Celtics are 4-3 as we look at it. All right, one last note on the NFL. Wanted to mention to you as we go through all the NBA, NFL, World Series. Once again, let's recap a little bit here. World Series 5-0 win for the Astros. They tied the series at 2 games apiece. The second no-hitter ever by a pitching staff. Well, first by a pitching staff. The first ever by an entire pitching staff. Don Larson in 1956 for the New York Yankees. A complete game, perfect game for the New York Yankees over the Brooklyn Dodgers. Alex Bregman with the double to give them the lead, to extend the lead. Justin Verlander 0-6 in World Series action. Noah Syndergaard, 1 win in his only start in the World Series against the Royals. Houston a 148 favorite, 7.5 the total. Syndergaard and Verlander on the mound. Tonight in the NFL, the Eagles 14 over Houston. Both teams playing in the World Series. Both cities playing in the World Series as they are in the NFL tonight. 45.5. The Eagles 7-0 on the year. Dominating win versus Pittsburgh. Texans lost to the Titans. They fall to 1-5-1. Eagles third in offense. Texans 31st in offense. Philadelphia third in points allowed. Points scored on offense. Fourth in points allowed. Houston, middle of the pack at 22 points allowed. They are 31st in points scored at nearly 19 a game. In the NBA, Golden State 9 at Orlando, 226 the total. Denver 6.5 at Oklahoma City, 229. The NBA 5-6 last night with the favorites. 4-7 on over-unders. Be careful what you do with those favorites. Be careful what you do on the overs. Seen a lot of trends on the overs going lately, but I think defenses are starting to catch up, as evidenced by last night. Not a lot of scoring, not a lot of good shooting. Best bets of the day, Eagles 14 in the NFL. I know said watch out about double-digit spreads on the road, but I just like this Eagles team. I look for them to go 8-0 and pummel the Houston Texans by more than 14. The Nuggets 6.5. They're playing well. They did lose to the Lakers last time, but I think that they're going to have a good game against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City having a tough time scoring. Nuggets have Murray, Jokic, Aaron Gordon, guys like that are coming off the bench. Jeff Green. They are having themselves a pretty good start to the year right now. They've had some struggles early, but right now they're on a roll, and I think 6.5 at Oklahoma City is pretty good. All right, one last note to talk about in the NFL. Ray Guy passes away at 72. Those of you that are old enough to remember Ray Guy from the mid-70s to the mid-80s, 72-year-old, the Oakland Raiders punter, the best punter ever in the NFL. He has 14 years in the NFL. And Al Davis, to his wisdom, drafted him in the first round. You never see a punter drafted in the first round. In 2000, it happened by Al Davis again when he took Janikowski and Leckler. It turns out to be one of the great punters of all time, but Ray Guy is the top punter of all time. Made it to the Hall of Fame, opened up the Hall of Fame for all the other punters and all the other specialists to be able to get in. He had a lengthy illness. He went to Southern Miss. He's a down home Southern boy who ended up loving his time in Oakland. 14 years with the Raiders. Al Davis loved him. He was a quarterback as well as a punter at Southern Miss when he got drafted, and Al Davis took him in the first round. He really liked him. Turned out to be a Hall of Fame decision by Al Davis. Ray Guy flipped the field a number of times, allowed that defense to be successful. And in turn, the defense was successful. The offense was successful because of field position. And that's what punters' jobs are to do. The Ray Guy Award given to the top NCAA punter every year in honor of Mr. Guy. We just wanted to pass along our best wishes to the family, to the Oakland Raiders family, to his family, the Southern Miss family, and everybody that followed the Oakland Raiders football-wise and our fan, watched him play. The best ever. Ray Guy at 72 years old passes away after a lengthy illness. All right. With that in mind, I want to say thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Don't forget to mention the Brits Pub, Sports Pub and Patio downtown San Jose during NFL Sunday Ticket. We'll be there live on Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll go for about 45 minutes to an hour. Live in the restaurant, you'll hear us during the pregame shows. When the games start, we'll give you the updates. We'll talk about the NBA, MLB, NHL. We'll give you our best bet segment as well on Sunday. And don't forget 10% off every Sunday during NFL Sunday Ticket. Don't forget to check them out during the week for their happy hour specials and their music nights that they have. They have a DJ night going on every Friday night, and then we'll be there Sunday morning. Coming up on Saturday, the VPartySports podcast will be back with you at 10 a.m. Eastern, live Saturday morning, 7 a.m. on the West Coast, a full review of NCAA Saturday from the previous week. Saturday football, a preview of this week's football, including the big game at Georgia between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee number 1 in the CFP poll. Georgia falls down to number 3, Ohio State 2, and Clemson number 4. And then we'll be there Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, the Brit Sports Pub and Patio downtown San Jose. Join us live, mention the podcast, receive your 10% off your entire bill, and enjoy all of week 9 of the NFL all day long. Okay, with that in mind, Vasti Vadaparty here, saying so long. Thanks for joining us. Keep track of our daily posts. Thanks for joining us on the podcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll see you Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time, a big day of college football. Game 6 of the World Series. We'll preview some of the NFL. We'll talk NBA. We'll get into the NHL a little bit. By the way, NHL, check out those Boston Bruins and those Vegas Golden Knights. They're both hot right now. We'll get more into the NHL on Saturday and into next week as the season starts, a few weeks into the season as they've started, both them and the NBA. And we'll get more into the NBA as well, too. I'm Vasti Vadaparty. Thank you for joining me. We'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern on the V Party Sports Podcast. Thanks, everybody.